Okay. Now then. Oh yeah, I was curious about if I run the game. Oh, actually, it probably won't run at the moment. Yeah. What if I get stash? Okay. So if I run it and then it doesn't work, if I exit the game, oh, okay, I can't exit anymore. That's interesting. We should probably fix that. We should probably fix that thing that doesn't work. Should probably fix the thing that doesn't work. Okay. Now, Discordy things, Discordy things, Discordy things, Discordy things. It's another day on the compute shader trail. All right. Pre-roll ads, get them out of the way. Rendering channel is not what I want. I want the streams channel. Hey, we got another Bevy streamer. Trying Bevy for the first time. Excellent. We need to give them a follow. And Boku, of course. Tessellate. Wait a minute. I didn't know Boku had a crate. That's pretty cool. Very cool. Okay. That one. Copy link. Let's see here.
We're so back. Sorry about that.
Cool.
Right.
Using Bevy for the first time.
I guess let's just get started. I don't know how long.
Yeah, a little bit of pixel art. Ooh, very long seek. Very long seek. On Twitch, you can do it. We're doing some sprite animations. This is a Game Jam project, I think. Big Mode 2025, whatever that is.
It can only play animations forwards, so I need it to be able.
Interesting. Let's give
Play
them a
animations
follow
backwards
for
as
sure.
well.
Nice one.
Could we just do this with?
Setalix is on this morning. We'll totally give Setalix a shout out to my one viewer who already knows who Setalix is. Okay, yeah. We need to do this. Back on the compute shader trail this morning. Wait, did I edit my title? Did I edit my title? I did. More Adventures in Compute Shadowland. Okay. I didn't edit it on YouTube though, I bet. No, I didn't. I actually don't know if you do a YouTube live echo, whether if you update the title during it, whether the eventual video is based on that title or the title you had when you started streaming. You have to test it. There we go. Just get rid of the red mark. And that can go back over here. Consistency. It's all about the consistency. That's all it's all about. Just habit. Keeping up with my habits. Keeping up with my habits. Compute shaders, you said? Why, certainly. I've heard of those. Spell Twitch right, damn you. No preview. Interesting. Okay, you can go away. Now then. So yeah, I noticed when I ran this, that my escape key didn't work anymore, which is probably due to the refactor we did, but it's supposed to pause the game and then quit it. And I was hoping that if I could do that, it would reset the material 2D, which would maybe dodge this bug. We seem to have a bug. We seem to have a bug with Bevy. It's not just me, it's other people as well. It's not just my failing. We seem to have a bug with Bevy where render assets does not work. UI elements randomly disappear. Is it render underscore assets that people were looking for? No. It's not closed, is it? Oh, you found a fun bug today. Nice. How you doing, Mike VDev? I'm loving the roofs you've got going on now. It's very cool. Very, very cool. I have to get the link from Discord for this one. I think it was Charlotte showed me where it was, but it does seem awfully eerily similar. Rendering. Hello, rendering. Where are you? There we go. It is. Ooh, there's a lot of talk and rendering at the moment. There's a lot of conversation all the way back to where I was. Yeah. Copy link. It's this one. Bevy doesn't add parent components until after FromWorld runs, which means you can't access hierarchy from within the FromWorld function. Oh, bummer. This will be fine if I could manually add the parent components during spawn to seed it ahead of time. Huh. Yeah, the hierarchy thing. This one is very similar. I've added a comment to it so that I remember to track it basically. But it's very similar to what I'm seeing where sometimes the custom material won't show up because render assets, I guess. But if we go to Bevy render layers broken and run that one, we can see it updates. And every time it updates, one of the birds disappears and it should never be visible apparently because it's on a different render layer, but sometimes it shows up. We just have to wait for it to take off in enough. Which I think is similar to mine because about 50% of the time it just doesn't show up. Now it's not going to do it. Damn it. Let's try again. These cursed birds. Yeah, see, there it is. It shouldn't be there ever, basically. Because the way render layers work is you have to have a collision or a set, right? Like if something's on render layers 1, it should only ever be visible from a camera that is also looking at render layers 1. 15 parent. Oh, it's private. Oh, was it not private in 14? And why did they make it private? I wonder. Um, I might try and come up with another repro as well for my use case, but it sounds very similar. They made it not private in 16. I see. And you can't exactly switch to main branch, or like sometimes you can, but with a project as complex as yours, you probably can't. Um, so yeah, so I've got this situation which should have a map on it, and I was thinking if I could hit a key that would cause a respawn, much like that example, um, then it would at least mean I wouldn't have to exit the game all the time to make it work. Oh, you're still waiting on a Bevy version to fix that other one. I remember that. That's crazy. Yeah, unfortunate. Just didn't quite make it into the list, the massive manifesto that is the Bevy 15 changelog. Okay, so oh wait a second, we just need to check something. Damn it. Damn it. Hey, wait a minute. Are you streaming at the moment? I just heard my voice. You're streaming me. I just heard my voice. Oh no, you're recommending me. That's very nice of you. That's funny. It is super frustrating. You're right. I understand. It's sometimes it seems like forever until a release comes out. Uh, okay. So yeah, so we need to find out why escape's not working anymore. I want to say that's going to be in one of the screens, maybe in screens. If you were doing that, you wouldn't be typing. Yeah. Screens. We're looking for the word escape. Yeah, here we go. Run if in state game playing and input just pressed keycode escape. We changed a lot of these states, so some of the stuff might not be working anymore. So this is in just do this. Oh, it's raining solid out there now. A wet, muggy kind of day in Auckland. Okay, so this should be working. Pause and unpause, which is 16. Game set, game paused. Okay. So let's look at the pause screen. No, the pause screen, please. Oh, this is the pause screen. Well, why? What? I need to game paused in it. Why wouldn't that be working? Let's look at the state transitions in the log, maybe. Ugh, my fingers are not doing the things they're supposed to be doing. That sounded bad, but I meant it well. Okay, so our state transitions there, and then we go start, and we're in game, and we hit escape, and there's nothing. Okay, interesting. Why has input handling stopped working? Are we no longer importing pause? That is the only hit on the word pause. That's suspicious. Maybe we just don't import that plugin anymore accidentally. I bet that's it. So if we go to game, oh yeah, it looks like we somehow edited it out, unless it's in screen. Huh. Screen does nothing. We do have pubmod pause, but we don't add the pause plugin anywhere. Did I have it in here and then removed it? Okay, well, this is the in-game screen, so let's do... I don't know, I'm confused as to what I did that stopped it working, but let's try it anyway. Hey, there we go. Pause. All right, so start, and that's working. Interesting. So once it works the first time, it seems to keep working, which makes me think that the problem is with the original initialization of the library somehow. Yeah, it's definitely working now. So let's see if we, but that's bad news in a way, because it probably means that if it doesn't work, it'll never work. Let's see if we can get one where it doesn't work. Oh, now it's going to work forever and ever. Shouldn't be disappointed about the fact that something doesn't work, that something works. That isn't the way it's supposed to go. There we go. Okay, that's failed. So we'll just cycle through this a few times and see if we can get, hey, nice. Okay, so that's good. Interesting. And I wonder if it's just going to work now forever. I guess so. Man, there's a lot of sprites falling down the screen. I don't think they're properly state scoped somehow. Whoop. They're definitely not properly state scoped. Okay, interesting. So if it doesn't work, you can get it to work by restarting the game. If it does work, it seems to work forever. Random. It's like a piece of memory on the GPU just gets initialized, and from that point on, it's happy. It's weird. Okay. All right. Well, we'll set that aside because that seems to work. Now we need to git stash pop and break everything again. Because our problem was that we were starting the compute shader right at the start of the program. And what we actually need to do is change it every time we load a level. The way that was happening, we were just trying to figure out before we init resource the collisions pipeline, and the collisions pipeline has collisions node has the render graph implementation here. And we need to alter the bind group for each new level because the image we're passing to the compute shader changes each time we load a level. However, I don't think we're going to do it using update. I think this is a relevant comment for this because collisions buffer bind group is a resource. And that's good because I think it means that this will run every time. I hope, I really hope it means this will run every time. So that if I change collisions buffer bind group, then if I change the bind group that's in here, I'm hoping I can get the shader to update. But I also need to find a way for it not to freak out when I load it at the start of the game and that resource doesn't exist yet. So we've got it being created here. Run if not resource exists, collisions buffer blind group. I think this is wrong. But it's run if in state screen intro at the moment, and I don't think that's going to work. One possibility would be to exit if the resource couldn't be found. I wonder if that would work or if it would just panic. Let's see here. What does resource actually return? Just a reference to a resource. Panics if the resource does not exist. Use get resource if you want to handle this case. Okay. Get resource or insert with would be interesting. But I don't know what I would put there. So what we could potentially do is get resource. Yeah, returns a result. Absolutely. So we could go and just exit early. But what happens in that case? Because we haven't done anything, I'm kind of hoping like dispatch work groups wouldn't happen. I'm just kind of hoping it would ignore it. So we can but live in hope, right? We can but live in hope. Yeah, I'm going to use Tiny Bale instead because I've been kind of digging that whole workflow. And you're complaining because default is not satisfied. Interesting. So it has to have a default. Result or standard defaults. So it won't just bail. That's annoying. So I would have to type it out in this case. Let's find out. Oh, whoops. Oh, I see. So nodes actually have to have a node run error. That's what's causing the problem. Okay. What is an example of a node run error? I don't really want it to panic. I just want it to exit quietly. Oh, I suppose I could just return. What do we call this thing? What do we call it when we do that? That's not going to work anyway because we've got to results. Yeah, so it would have to be okay. Results like that. Yeah. You don't want to see how often I expect stuff in Mirrorstone. Oh, I didn't actually realize that was the name of your game. That's cool. I like it. Yeah, so return okay. So this is not great, but let's make this a to do. Await the eventual construction insertion of the above resource when we arrive at the intro screen for each level, question mark. I'm still not sure if my mental model of this is actually correct. But let's try it. So does that get us to the point where we can run or not really? Apparently so. Interesting. Is it spitting compute shader stuff at us or have I turned that off? I've turned that off. Okay, so let's go back to physics. And is the compute shader supposed to be spinning? Oh, it is. Right. It's supposed to be telling us that it's reading things, and it's not. Fun fact, my game running kills OBS quality. Really? Huh. So, that's not good. Has that always happened, or have you just noticed the code behind your game becomes 2 pixels? Wow. Is the game visible? Kind of curious to see now. I should look at it on my phone. I mean, I guess the GPU is doing a lot more than it was used to, but it should be relatively low work, right? Don't know, just noticed it then. If I leave it running like this, does it eventually catch up with the buffering? Just gonna open Twitch on my phone so I can see what's going on. Hello, Twitch, where are you? People who are live, turn the volume off. Following. Am I following myself? BASIE. There I am. Okay, let's look at this. Might have been Twitch compression on your end. Okay, at the moment it's rendering as I would expect. Let's try closing it. Sorry, it's total sidetrack, but you've got me curious now. Okay, pop it open. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it, but that's interesting. One of the things that I was told when I started doing this, and I don't know if you heard the same, is that 720p is probably better for most affiliates who are not partners because only partners get a guaranteed 1080p broadcast without compression. You do 720, right? Plus this up while I think of it. I do 1080p because I never noticed that it was getting downgraded. And I actually have, this is a 2K screen, but I downsize it to 1080p in OBS. And then broadcast it in 1080p because I don't play a lot of like fast moving games or anything like that that requires sort of high fidelity. So I figure it would make the text easier to read, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's a bad idea. I should experiment with it. But yeah, you're the first person that's told me that, so it's interesting. I wonder if it'll persist. Is the text otherwise normally relatively easy to read without the game being there? You have a 5K monitor here. Yeah, I have a 4K monitor, but I run it in normally fine. I run it in 2K just while I'm streaming, just to make the scaling easier. I used to have the 4K area, and then I would just put terminal windows around it, so that made a 2K area, so that I could run scripts and things on the side. But it just got too fiddly, so I stopped doing that. Apple Studio, nice, very flash. Okay, so I will stop artificially boosting my numbers by watching my own stream. Hang on a sec. There we go. Well, that's kind of cool having your little display up on your phone so that you can see what's going on. Funny. All right, so that's bad news because it means that we should be seeing a whole bunch of output and we're not, which to me means that this is always exiting. Let's just confirm that with something like this, which will slow everything down, I'm sure, because output during a render cycle. Early exit, early exit, early exit. What was that? Oh, okay, transitions. Oh, yeah, it's just always exiting, no matter what. So does that mean that we're not inserting it correctly? Bummer. All right. Well, at least we know that that portion of the code always runs. So we're always getting the resource. We're always updating the, what do you call it? The bind groups. So now we just need to figure out why. I feel honestly, this stuff fascinates me. Like I know industry professionals would probably look at this and eye roll, but just the whole concept of shaders and talking to the GPU is just really interesting. And setting them up, setting up the pipeline. It's one of the reasons I still like Bevy, even for all of its warts and its frustrations, just getting to interact with this stuff at a relatively low level. Okay, so we know that get resource should return an option with a reference to the resource. This means that we are not inserting it correctly. And we are supposed to be inserting it, bad Vimmer, very bad Vimmer, here. Run if in-state screen intro. Okay, so no. Let's get rid of that and then compare the result. Okay, so we've got a fail. And we're early exiting. Let's just see if we can restore it. And we can, which is good. But we're still early exiting. All right. You zoned out. Honestly, it's completely fine. It's very nice of you to hang out, and it's nice to have someone to talk to. But I would also be, if you want to co-work, or I I was honestly I was at the point where I was almost like it's a rainy Sunday and I'm tired. I'm going to play games, but but I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't because I got shit to do and 135 days left to do it in. We're on a timer, man. Okay. This is going to be the best brown lemmings conversion ever. 135 days. Oh, it's 135 days till my birthday. And I promised that I would release, at the very least, get something onto Steam, whether it be a demo or an early access on my birthday. That's the goal. And my birthday is in June, and there is 135 days left to go. Okay. Now, fair's fair. Run if not resource exists, collision buffer group. So what happens if we just make it every frame? Just out of curiosity. Nope. Well, am I crazy? Or actually, what I should do is I should look at the EGUI thing and see if that resource even exists. What's my hotkey for this? It's here we go. Resources. Collision. No collision. Ah, okay. EGUI is fucking horribly. The instant mode rendering makes it such a pain. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know a lot about it, but I did manage to get it to the point where I could send it away if I could, if I didn't want to see it. Yeah, so we do not have that resource anywhere. Unless we should actually derive reflect on it. But it doesn't seem to be there. So what am I doing wrong here? Render set, prepare bind groups, run if not resist. Yeah, prepare bind group. The thing is, we have to change. Run if the resource doesn't exist. Insert resource collisions buffer bind group. Whoa, it's already spamming. We need to get rid of that. I don't see it running at all. Either that or it exits out of it too early. So why? Why? We've been through the intro screen. It should run. This does not appear to be running at all. Oh, interesting. You can control when you add the node. Huh. As a top level to the render graph, this means it will only execute once per frame. So this is running on finish, but there's no particular reason I couldn't run this in the intro screen, I guess. But it's probably better if I just change the bind group rather than add the whole node every time. So why isn't it running? Add systems render, prepare bind group, insert render set, prepare bind groups. Run if not resource exists. Collisions buffer bind group. Hmm. Which is the one that helps it show up in EGUI? I feel like it's reflect. In which case you'd need default, wouldn't you? No, clone, not defaults. Nope, that wasn't it. Okay, bind group doesn't implement from reflect. Nope. Oh, conflicting. So it's already collisions. Hang on. I can't do it. Okay, never mind. Backing out, backing out. It's okay. Everything's fine. Nobody saw anything. Okay. Now, why is my resource not being created? Insert resource, collisions buffer, collisions. Is it possible that we're exiting? Wait, we're calling this when? Is the net not getting called? Run if in-state screen intro. Maybe we take that one away. Oh, well, the compute shed is back. I don't think it's working, but it's back at least, so that's good. Let's just see if we can get the terrain back again. There we go. All right, good. So that's good. And then hopefully I can update the image that the shader points to when I load a level. That's the theory. That's the theory. Okay, good. Why is it not counting up? It used to count up. Hmm. It also runs continuously, even if actually, one thing I do want to try is seeing how many times it runs and just exits early. I don't know how quickly I can capture that. Whoops. Stop that. Go away. So if we go down. Oh, it didn't exit early at all. Oh, prepare bind group did not run because it requested inaccessible system parameter. That's going to turn into a panic when 15.2 comes out. One thing we could do to avoid it, though, is use single. Um, Actually, that's not a bad idea. Oh, it's not a query, so we can't do that. But this is effectively the same thing. Okay, so we get a few exit earlies. Interesting that it's interspersed with this. I guess just timing issues. No, it's happening a lot. What the hell? It's happening every second time. Whoa. I don't understand that at all. Oh, actually, yeah, this isn't working. We're getting these results, but we're not incrementing the compute shader because it never finds this resource. So if we go further up, update cursor position did not run because it requested inaccessible system parameter single. That shouldn't be running anyway. we've gone game transition into playing, and we shouldn't have. I wonder if playing is the default. And physics prepare bind group should be able to access level render targets, and it can't. And that'll panic in 15.2 as well. Okay. So there's a few timing issues still. Game playing. Should not be set. Default is playing. Yeah, that's a problem. I almost want a none state. I guess preparing or loading. Loading would be better. How do I name those states? Badly. Game is a terrible name for a state, but I'm just trying to. It's a substate of screen in game. I never want to call it game state. I know, right? It's hard. I almost want to call it like game activity or something, but or game phase. Phase is an interesting one. Phase is kind of cool. It's almost like a level state. If your game has levels, of course. Let's try. I'm going to add a loading. It's not great, but or prep setup. Let's try loading for now. So this isn't a great name. However, we need a state that isn't playing where prep setup type tasks can take place. Okay, we'll try that. I don't think it might break some other things, but let's just have a quick look. Can I do level U8? Yeah, maybe. Oh, it stays an intro. Okay. So that's not good. What happened with, oh, well, there we go. So an intro, we're supposed to transition to next screen set, screen in game. And I'll need to do next game state, which again is really annoying. Managing two states at once feels clunky. Do. Nope. Okay, let's have a closer look at intro. State scope to screen intro. Tick timers is in inset game set tick timers. Run if in-state game playing, yeah. That's the problem. States are hard. It needs to be in non-game set tick timers. And again, those names, not good. Okay. All right, so we're still exiting each frame, which is not good. Suggests to me that we don't have our buffer being created. Let's run that one more time and see what happens to the early state transitions. So tick intro timer didn't run. It shouldn't be running. Oh, I see. It's running every. Yeah. So those game sets just aren't doing the job, really. System sets. Repair bind group. Inaccessible res level. Oh, well, that's why it doesn't exist. Res level render targets wasn't there. Okay, good. We're making progress, sort of. Maybe. Kind of. Let's get rid of this. In state screen intro is what we actually want. System set's cool, but not quite what I want in this case. Okay, so now, yeah, we don't have those failures, which is good. In this failure, we know why that's happening. It's because level render targets doesn't exist yet. The weird thing is, it never runs. So can we not make it run during intro? Where are we? We're in physics, which is not good. We should change that, but never mind. So prepare bind group. I think I'd run it on exit from the intro state. That'd be tempting. Oh, I can't because I need to run it in render. Well, let's start with that. There'll be timing issues there too, but we might get away with it. Okay, we got 2 early exits. And we're still exiting. Damn. Okay, so we go from intro to end game, loading to playing, but we never start incrementing the numbers because we're always exiting. So the resource doesn't exist. So let's go into prepare bind group. Oh, and we never see that insert resource. I bet it's exiting on the image. Yeah. So we need to run this after the images are loaded, which involves a nasty little cross file check, but we can do that. Just to confirm it. So I want to run it after intro init, I think. Intro prepare level images. This all screams of needing a refactor, but same deal. Yep, same deal. One more time so I can see if it failed anywhere. Get to the intro screen quickly. And then go down. See if I can see anywhere where we ran it, and I don't think we did. Let's turn off this so that we can see what's going on. I would like to see the initial system call. I probably should be using tracing or something flash like that, but I'm not. Fight me. Loading is done. Yeah, it doesn't get called. Huh. Prepare bind group never gets called. Run if instate screen intro. Run if, actually, we can take this away. Run if not resource exists. Let's take that away. Definitely no prepared by group. Ah, inaccessible system parameter res level render targets. Okay. Let's look at intro. That also expects this to exist. And we got ads coming, so I'm going to make a cup of tea and come right back. Got to head out. No worries. Thanks so much for stopping in, and thanks for the follow, DipoX or Dipox. Okay, ads are still running. I'm going to continue to eat my apple. All right. Apple done. Cup of tea obtained. This can only mean good things. All right. So level render targets doesn't exist. Level render targets is created where? It is created in level, funnily enough, when you add the plugin. That should be early enough. It's created with a default, but it's still created. I guess there's a little bit of a race condition between the intro plugin and the level render targets. Maybe this should happen. I wonder what happens if you change the order that you add plugins in here. So screens is added before level. I mean, for example, if you did this, would that take away the problem? It's pretty flimsy way of approaching things. Excuse me, prepare bind group did not run because inaccessible system parameter res level render targets. Excuse me. Okay. So at the point at which this starts to run, it's far too early, basically. I wonder if I should just initialize it like super early in the whole piece. Like I could do it in lib, for example. So app init resource level render targets. And then take it out of level. Still inaccessible. Why is it inaccessible? It must be running really early. We've got a screen transition, we've got a game transition, and then we've got this. Why is it running so early? This after must not be working. Inset render set prepare bind groups, add systems render. We've got init resource. I could do it here. I wonder if that would help. Oh, it crashed. Number of oh yay! So we've got a different error finally. Oh my god, we ran prepare bind group. Number of bindings in bind group descriptor does not match the number of bindings defined in the bind group layout. Okay. Finally, some progress. Let's try not exists. What was it? Not exists world resource something or other. Resource exists collision buffer bind group. Is that it? No. Oh, it's not a function call. Okay. So now we've got this issue where the bindings are wrong. We can bring this back. Where are our bindings? We're asking for 2. Somewhere. Here we go. Bind group layout entries sequential, shader stages compute, storage buffer. Here we go. We need it here, I think. So we look at the example, which is Bevy. Examples, shader, GPU readback. Image text to view into binding. I've got so many buffers open. Okay, now image is going to be, we need the level render targets at this point. So let level targets equals world resource level render targets. Level targets destination. Oh, except that we need the GPU image, not the image. I think so. This will fail. So we need to do a lookup based on images. Do we have that buffer open? Image is res readback image. And readback image is a wrapper around GPU image? No, handle image. Okay. To close some files here. Bevy examples, shader, GPU readback. Right. So we're doing image equals images get, image O unwrap, and images is res render assets, GPU image. That happens in prepare bind group. But this is in from world. So what do we do in from world? Oh, I see. Here we go. Texture storage 2D. That's what we needed. That's what's gone wrong. Except that instead of write only, it's going to be read only. Where does that come from? That's better. I wonder if this will run. Nope. Storage texture binding 1 expects format R32 uint, but given a view with format RGBA 8 unorm sRGB. Yeah. So can we do that? Let's look at the shader. Array U32, R32 uint. Texture format. I see. Is it this one? Oh, I'm in the wrong file. Okay. Was that correct? The adapter does not support read access for storage textures of format RGBA, unorm, sRGB. So what should it be? Read write? I'll probably need to change this. Some heavy lifting stuff here. Does not support read access, so it's got to be right. Shoot. That's frustrating. Oh. Must be annotated with read write. Features, texture adapter specific format features must be enabled to use this accent mode. This is a non-standard native only extension, so I couldn't use it in the browser. What about just read? Same thing. Damn. I really want people to be able to play it in the browser. So the only thing you can do without adding a flag is a write mode. That's annoying. So these are WGPU features. Without this flag, read-write storage access is not allowed at all. Seems frustrating that you can't access the texture that you're sending to the GPU. It's weird. Okay, so let's try seeing if we can get it to work. So texture adapter specific format features. How do I enable these? WGPU features. You need to verify that the adapter supports the feature. Let's try searching and how do I enable a WGPU feature? Default for WGPU settings. Looks like it already enables it. But maybe it's just not supported for that format. Let's try searching for this string. It's not enough to only have the feature. You must explicitly pass it in as a required feature when creating a device. Um, Create a device, create bind group. Entries, layout. So it looks like we can't, question mark. I can't pass the texture into it and read from it. Proper way to read from a texture in a compute shader which uses a storage texture. Only 3 formats can be used. Could I convert the formats? Copy texture to texture. My brain is not working this morning. I've only been streaming for an hour and a half. It's like trying to get blood out of a stone. Storage buffer to duplicate output color information after each compute pass as an input for the next pass. Hmm. Huh. I wonder if. No. Maybe I can use the AI to get some clarity on some of these searches. What is your current understanding of the ability of WGPU compute shaders to read from storage textures? Which types are supported? See what it can do with that. Read-only access to this, which is what I'd like. Must be created with storage binding use. No support for writing in compute shaders. That doesn't sound right. I'm skeptical. Might be to do with this feature. Let's see if we can find Bevy enable WGPU feature, something like that. Configuration for rendering initialization. Use render device features, render device limits, and render adapter info to get runtime information. I'll have to see an example. Ah, this might be it. Runs with default plugins without an actual renderer. Render plugin, render creation, WGPU settings. Maybe. Native only feature. Ah, yeah, here we go. Okay, except that we don't want that one. We want the other one. Texture adapter specific format features. I wonder if that cancels out all the other features. Hmm. Definitely no. It might be my specific adapter, I guess. Oh, I see. RGBA UNORM, not sRGB. I think I'll run into problems with the way it's being imported, but let's just see if we can get away with it. I'm pretty sure that feature is already enabled. And this will need to be something else as well, but I don't know what. What is the equivalent WGSL type for GBAH UNOM? That's not helpful. What should I replace with? Okay. Right. Can GBAH UNORM sRGB be converted to RGBA8 UNORM? Okay. Probably doing it in the render cycle is not great, but let's just see where we get to. Actually be better to do it in image creation, which happens in intro. Hmm. So what does that return? Option self. Okay. All right. Um, okay. That seems to have worked. Still problem? Yeah, still a problem. Bummer. So I've created it here, but I guess the default is not that. And so that's what it's seeing on its first run. Is it possible that this is writing to the source image in place? Like maybe I should be doing. Hmm. Can I also do this? I don't imagine so. Oh, maybe I can. Hmm. So it's possible that this is just happening too late. And so when we get to this stage, we get to loading, then we get to splash. And as soon as we get to splash, we're running prepare bind group. Which means that the images, I suppose I could default the images to that type as well. But I mean, they're just they're empty handles, I think. Hmm. My brain is not working today. Okay, don't fight it. We'll call it quits there and we'll come back to it tomorrow or later today if I get inspired. All right. Thanks for lurking. Appreciate it. I am going to close it out without rating today, I think. We'll see you next time.